What's up, you guys? Jonny Truelove here. Welcome to Wake Up Wednesdays. And in this next episode, guys, I'm going to be talking about, is the relationship that you are currently in the right relationship for you right now? There's going to be a lot of talks of this, and there's a lot of you experiencing the contrast during this quarantine, and I hope to bring some clarification to all of you. Without further ado, let us jump right into this.
I told you before I laid my eyes on you. I'm not too sure, I just can't take my eyes off you.
So, you guys who are all in relationships currently right now, you may be together for, I don't know, a new relationship that is experiencing a lot of the cloud nine stuff, the stuff that makes you feel good inside, and there's still depths to explore of expansion and understanding who you really are in the depths of where you came from and getting to know the person a little bit more. And then there's some of you in the relationship right now that have been together 6 months, a year, 2 months, 2 years, 3, or even 4 or 5 years, but have gone on this roller coaster of a ride and not really sure if you should stay in this or not, because as we're experiencing this, pandemic, a lot of us are forced to either stay, we either probably live together, or we are making it difficult to find ways to get along experiencing this contrast. Now, how many of you guys actually always have to say, I love you? Or do you feel like you use that term, I love you, so loosely? Or I miss you, or I'm thinking about you? Or sometimes do you feel like there's one that's putting in more work than the other person? I'm guilty of both. I've done both. I've experienced both. And that's why I'm speaking upon this, and what clarity I found into understanding who I really am and who I was really not loving, neglecting the fact of me wanting love when I wasn't being loved first. Now, there's been plenty of times in my own personal experiences when we get into fights. I know a lot of us try to justify why we should stay together, and because we've built so much together, we've been through ups and downs, we've been through so much. And in my last video, I don't know if you guys talked about a certain timeline that I think soulmates and twin flames actually meet during a certain time, space, reality when we're here in this earthly world, this planet. And there's a time, and if you think about the exes that you've all dated, or people you've dated that collectively showed you what you wanted in the next person. And this is the reason why I understand everyone that there's coming, going into your life. Fine tune the actuality of what your inner being wants. Your desires of the perfect mate, or the relationship that you've always dreamt about, is there. It's there. It's out there. And your higher self knows, your inner being, your higher self knows exactly what you want. And sometimes the person that we are invested in, as far as time is concerned, there's conditions of the reasons why we stay with the person, such as possibly you have kids, and it makes it very difficult because you guys, on a logical aspect, you guys have kids together, you guys have things together, and you've driven yourself away from love, not feeling that love for each other, but still choose to stay in it for the kids, or choose to stay in it because you have something going on that ties you guys in together. A lot of that tie-in is not love, and that's why you will never be able to allow love into your life and go into a state of allowing if you are not accepting. And you're not going to be able to accept it if you're being tied down by lower levels of consciousness that are holding you there, or the old story, or the love frequency, because that is too far out in the ballpark to jump to understanding what you can attract. Now, if you stay with me for a second, let's say, for example, like for me, for instance, like if I ever got into a fight, my old self, get into a fight, and you try to justify to yourself during the fight when you start speaking again, how much I love you, this and that. Isn't it always easier? Didn't you guys find it always easier to say, I love you, when things are good? That's when you are truly aligned and you feel that you are in an alignment of happiness, and you're feeling that joy in your heart, and you're feeling like you're having fun, and you're planning things out, and you have things to look forward to. It's easier to feel it that way because you are aligned on that scale, that frequency of love. Show right here. And it's always easier to feel the emotion of what love means to you when you are in alignment with who you really are. When who you really are is your soul, spirit, inner being, higher self, whatever you want to call it. It is when you are feeling aligned with who you really are on the inside, being measured to this, and now you can feel that emotion because it is aligned. But when you are fighting and you're constantly fighting and someone is leaving and trying to run away from you and say, but I love you, please don't leave, you almost feel the other party or the other partner can almost feel the neediness, the lower level of vibration or lower level of consciousness from their partner. So anytime someone feels a sense of need or a sense of if someone's trying too hard to keep it together, they are out of alignment. There's no way that person can actually tell you I love you and mean it in that frequency of love when you can't get there from there feeling the way you feel from down here. So it is two different radio stations that don't match up, and that's why the other person can understand that this is not love. This is not love. And so when someone falls out of love, then maybe someone is not, or both, or either one of you are not as aligned as you think you are. Let me say that again. If someone feels that they're falling out of love, then maybe they're not as aligned as they think they are, or you think you are. Because true love, see that? True love is an unconditional feeling. It is a vibration of no matter what condition, no matter what fight, no matter what contrast, no matter what depth of expansion that we are attracting from each other, it is welcome. It is welcome in my world, or it should be welcome in your world, because that level of depth of getting to know someone and that level of expansion and understanding that both of you are not the same, you guys will attract those lower levels of consciousness from each other, but are willing to look at this as something that is not reacting or causing a reaction out of you to attract the lower levels of vibration of you, or for you to come out of alignment. Now you may ask yourself, all right, Johnny, well, what happens if someone is aligned and someone is not? When someone is aligned and someone is not, and someone gets mad, the person who is aligned should not really react to the person who is not. Because if they do, then you yourself is not as aligned as you think you are. I'm not saying ignore your emotions. I'm not saying ignore being upset or mad, but allow yourself to feel it and accept and understand that's what it is, and let go. Letting go, forgiveness, all that stuff. And here's the crazier thing. You're never ever truly going to meet someone better than you, is what I'm saying. What you will meet and what you will attract is someone who is a vibrational match for you. Think about that for a second. A vibrational match. What does that mean? Glad you asked, Jonny Truelove. Well, it's kind of like this. Imagine two people calling each other out all the time. It's like, well, you know what? I'm sick and tired of doing this for you. You don't know I do this, and I do this. And the other person goes, you know what? Well, you got to start doing this. You got to clean. You got to start doing this. When you guys start calling each other out on your BS, or calling each other out on your shit, right? What happens is all you're really doing is attracting the lower levels of consciousness, the lower levels of vibration that no longer serve the both of you. And the reason both of you recognize it, because they are your vibrational match. The reason why you call them out is because you see it like they know it, and they know it like they see it. It's always better to be honest with who you really are. And who you really are is not perfect, but the longer you can stay in alignment with who you really are, meaning I love this person unconditionally. I love them anyway. This person doesn't, anytime you feel like this person should behave a certain way so you can feel better about yourself, then that's not really love. No one should be able to change themselves for someone to make themselves feel better. Only you can make yourself feel better and treat yourself better into feeling whole with or without them. That is the abundant mindset. Remember, you are already whole and complete. You don't need each other. If I were to get, let's just say, if I were to get into a relationship with someone, I would tell them, I love you if I'm feeling the alignment with my higher self. Which, if you can stay aligned long enough and stay there as long as you can, then that's what you will attract from each other. That's where the inspiration comes from. That's where the melody and the harmony come together to co-create the yin yang, if you will. And that's the balance between both, because those depths of expansion only inspire the both of you to co-create together. And it never goes dull. When both two people who are truly aligned with who they really are, two masters who don't need each other, and they truly do love themselves. I don't need you, you don't need me, but damn it, fuck, geez Louise, we are synergetic and we complement each other. And fuck, I love you because I love me that much too. And both of you can truly feel that, then that is someone who you want to be with. That is someone who brings and attracts that good side of you just as you do for them. You see how that works? But the moment when it comes out of alignment, you start going to having to change for the person, then you'll start to build resentment for the person because you are running away from yourself. That's not really who you are. You are behaving in a way that's not you at all. It's putting the smile on their face first so they can feel better, and then you can have resentment towards them because that's not really who you are. And when you start acting your own way, they think you're acting off, they think you're acting up, and that have something active in them because you guys are no longer a vibrational match. If you are not a vibrational match for each other, then that's the time to go. You know what I'm saying? That's the time to go. That's the time where if you're not growing, you're dying, and it's limiting your expansion of growth. That is the time you should move forward. Or when you feel like your feelings are no longer synergetic and you yourself cannot truly be you. If you cannot truly be you in front of them, then you guys are not a vibrational match because that is not who you are. You have practiced your vibration into running away from yourself. And in the moment they come back into your life, you have to behave a certain way again. You should fully be who you truly are. And if you can accept that unapologetically and come into harmony with your higher self, unconditionally feeling true love with or without this person, my absolute promise to you is you will attract someone exactly like you. That's exactly what you want, and that's exactly when you know it's time to bounce, or you can love them anyway. All right, if you guys like this, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe button, comment if you have any questions. Make sure you leave a comment below, and then we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.